Hey, what's up guys? It's your main man, Rise Above World, with some tips and strategies that you might find useful in my favorite game, Woodoku. So let's get into it. First of all, I'd like to congratulate all the new players that have made it to the world leaderboard.
Just based on
It
it
will be
right
coming
there,
soon. Thank you for your patience.
I want to kind of go in depth into edge control. So I made a video a while back kind of discussing a few of the basics when dealing with edge control. And on today's video, I want to go in a little bit deeper depth. So in all, around the whole board, you have a total of 32 squares. And at any time, in order to have a nice amount of options and a pretty good score, as well as options to play, you want to have at least 25, 25, maybe 20 at a minimum of the outside squares covered in order to have options to play. So let's continue to play. Now, as you can see, I'm not actually even putting the blocks together to even score yet. I'm basically lining the outside of the board, almost like putting a puzzle together. A lot of people decide, when they first get a brand new puzzle, to get all the puzzle pieces with a straight edge on the outside, and they frame it first. Well, in Woodoku, I use a similar strategy. So let's see how it turns out. We'll go ahead and score right there. I'm gonna go ahead and do this right here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and see what we got going on. Try to play as we go. We can do this right here. All right, so what I did up at the top, and I know this video I kind of want to primarily focus on edge control, but I also want to highlight isolated squares. Excuse me, I haven't actually made a particular video that focuses on strictly isolated squares, but there's not really a whole lot to it. It's basically just as the name implies. And there's different ways that you can look at isolated squares. One way is that sometimes when you isolate a square, you don't have no choice but to do it. Other times you do have a choice. And sometimes you might want to isolate a square for a board layout strategy. And, whatever works for you, I would, tell you to go ahead and do it. But me personally, I have found that when I isolate squares, or I don't use edge control, it always comes back to bite me. But we're going to see how this game right here goes. Right there's another isolated square. So I can isolate the square, right? I'm gonna isolate one square, but then I'm actually will be employing edge control with those two over in the corner. Is that a good sacrifice? I doubt it. I'd rather go over here. All right, so that didn't really pay off in particular, but we are gonna be able to continue this game right here. So there's a play right there. But look, again, I'm isolating a square. Is it worth it? Well, let's see. All right. I don't want to, continue to do that, and I don't want to get comfortable with doing it. But sometimes, especially early in the game, it's not really that big of a deal. Early in the game, but it's not something that you want to do. Look, I'm isolating the square again. I'm isolating this square, and this particular group of squares right here, I'm kind of boxing myself in. In particular, there's only a few type of block patterns that's going to be able to fit in here, but let's just see how it turns out. I'm gonna go ahead and put this right here. Again, I'm isolating another square. I don't recommend this, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do. but let's see if I can make it out. Let's see if I can turn this around any kind of way. Oh, and let me just say this. I gotta point this out. If you look, this whole right side of the board, I do not have one block on the edge. That is a no-no. This is definitely gonna come back to bite me in the butt, you know. But maybe it won't. Let's see. Let's see how it turns out, y'all. Let's see how it turns out. See, right there. And so, as you can see, I didn't even make it to 200 points. Okay, I didn't make it to 200 points, but that's just one example of what happens when you have isolated squares on the board. It really limits your options. I have an isolated square right here. I have an isolated square right here. An isolated square right here. And this is somewhat of a isolated block pattern with limited. And you can pretty much say that this whole right side of the board is isolated, okay? And also, I do not have edge control. In my humble opinion, edge control, not having edge control, is having 25 or less squares around the edge. So let's count how many I got right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 blocks around the edge of the board. That's not even 20. You know, at a minimum, you want to have, you know, more than 20. And I have 17, so of course you're not going to get anywhere. So now that you see what it's like not using edge control,
It will help your overall game, hopefully, and get you some higher scores. Thanks for watching. Peace.